Alright, so I've been asked a lot to actually make this video, talk about who you guys should summon on. So we're going to bring all the new units coming very soon, and then also bring the reruns, because the reruns are going to be there in November for JP, maybe for Global it's going to be later. But we have reruns that are going to be there from November to December. They should be spread out, but at least, I don't know about the first Annie reruns, but I know the 1.5 Annie will be there, because they did the same thing for 1.5 rerunning first Annie. So we're going to go through all the reruns, rank them in these categories, and then all the new units that we have. Now Kusakabe might be like, oh, but he's not out yet. Yes, however, we could make an overall assessment, and I mean, if you really want more specific information on him, then, you know, when he comes out, stay tuned for the channel and check out a showcase, and we'll get more info, and we'll see then. So right now we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 units that I think are either still on Global or will be there at some point. We don't know when, but we're gonna rank them in these categories. No, please don't summon on them, not worth it. If anything, you should just wait for them to be on standard, SP buff, and then maybe even wait for their rerun, because if they're not good right now but you do want them, why not wait for them to have their SP buff and then summon? So we have the no category, only if they're your favorite or if you're missing someone else. So for example, something that I guess could make sense in this, I guess technically would be basically like summoning on Red Yuji, or using Red Yuji if you don't have Toji, something like that, or using Jogo if you don't have Sukuna, something like that, right? We'll go into that in more detail. Now Premium Plus is kind of something that I have coined as a term, I guess, basically to mean something in particular, which, I mean, it's gonna be very obvious who I'm talking about, but essentially units that basically make the team better but are not needed, right? I mean, like, for example, I guess you could even count Shoko in this category if we're considering the fact that after Shoko released, well, there was someone free to play who you could use in the same way, being Junpei, right? So, you know, something like that is how we're going to be classifying this. And then afterwards, there's going to be amazing, especially for tower. Let me capitalize that. And then there's going to be the highest value that you could, that like if you summoned on, even on the reruns, I don't think I would blame you. So these are the tiers, and we're gonna have a special little something afterwards, but stay tuned for this and let me know who you personally do want to summon on. Obviously everyone wants different units. If you want to summon for someone who I think is kind of ass in one of these two categories, that's fine, but you know, just heed my words with caution, with the idea that, you know, I mean, for the most part, these are pretty accurate assessments from what I've been kind of asking around before making this video. So, starting off with units you should not summon on, these two. So, you know, it's kind of funny that the two new blue units are the ones you shouldn't summon on. Ino does not do really enough damage. What's funny is that he... Bro, wait, this is kind of funny. So, you know, like, I actually think he was a pretty cool release in the way that, like, I was, like, kind of hyped for him. I thought that his kit was pretty good. He's not that good, but because of how Sweep is right now, his damage isn't too bad, because you can't use Yaga, really. If you do, it's, like, massive RNG, so this extra Jujutsu stat is, like, really good, because it's multiplicative. And obviously, with Kaido, he does work pretty well to keep up the CE. Overall damage is not that good, and for Naobito, his break damage is okay. His damage is pretty mid. Like, if he had a taunt, maybe he'd be good, but right now he's kind of ass, right? Doesn't do anything too good. He's kind of a jack of all trades, master at none, but not even just not being a master, he just sucks at everything. So, you know, that's a big no for me. So, yeah, I think Naobito was another very unfortunate release, if we're being honest, because, like, he might have one of the best arts in the game. I think the colors serve this art very well. Unfortunately, his damage just isn't there. Okay, it really isn't. I think that out of all the showcases that I've tried to do, his was the most disappointing, because he basically improved none of them. None of them. Like, no showcase, no stage, nothing was better. Sweep, he could barely clear Sweep 10 already, right? And I just hate the fact that Blue doesn't have a supporter, or I mean a stat buffer, because you have to rely on the RNG of Yaga not dying, and my RNG is so ass in that type of thing. So that's it for no. Now, in ones that, like, if you're missing someone, right, first up is going to be my boy Jogo. So Jogo, we know, is the best red Jujutsu DPS for tower. However, he is not really, like, I've kind of had my suspicions confirmed, he's not that good for sweep. I would say, first of all, you would need him to be even dupe 1 for him to start being good. And I just don't think he's that good in general for sweep. His rotations don't make much sense. He takes too much CE that you don't have to go around. and it's a bit unfortunate with how that works. So I do not think he's that good for sweep. However, for tower, he's not bad, but as of right now, there's nothing directly like needing him, and I'm not going to base myself off of theories of the future, right? Because we don't know how tower is going to look in October, but right now he's basically just a bit of an upgrade from Nobara. So if you're missing Nobara for red Jujutsu, then hey, maybe you want to summon for him, do like more so as a paid player. I don't think free to play should even summon on him, but you know, I don't think he's bad. It's just more so if he's your favorite, then you know, be happy because he's not bad. It's just he's not good for sweep, and for tower we're gonna have to see how he works, especially dupe 0. Now the other one is Toji. This guy, I mean, we know is basically a downgrade to Zonji. Zonji has basically gapped Toji for sure now with this sweep update. However, we don't know how the next tower update is going to be, and something that we cannot like kind of discount is the fact that Toji has more survivability than Zonji in terms of his free healing every turn alongside the, I think it's that, is it damage reduction? I don't actually know. I actually don't know. I kind of forgot. I know he has healing. I know he has dodge. Does he have damage reduction? Yeah, he does. Okay, so those three things together do help him quite a bit. I mean, he has almost basically an extra life, right? Basically, because this in 30 turns is over 100% HP. So keep that in mind. I think it's like 105%, but Zonji is just better, right? It's insane. Sweep made him a beast, especially because of his break gauge. So much better. But we'll see how Toji is. Maybe we need that consistency. Maybe with Kusakabe, right? For example, Toji's really good, and I'm happy he's A1 because it's going to be a fair assessment to my Zonji. But I do think there's a possibility, right, that could be, because you have to keep in mind, Toji is meant for buff floors, apparent because he gives himself the 160% taijutsu, and compared to Degumi, well, Kusakabe is a buffer. So for a buff floor, I think that maybe it's possible that Kusakabe and Toji alongside Shoko and maybe even Yellow Yaga or Junpei, right, are going to be a pretty good combo. I mean, Junpei with Toji, it could be interesting, just interesting. So we'll have to see for tower, but for right now, I'm saying he's still a like a very low summon. Now, in terms of premium plus units, there's one in particular that I really have my eyes on, right? And that is going to be Red Megumi. So this guy is very, very good. I'm not gonna lie, I think he might be one of the higher end releases of this year, right behind Choso. And the main reason is because his damage reduction now for sweep is beautiful, beautiful. Now the biggest thing is for sweep, especially when you're changing phases, what's good is you in 3 turns with your ult you get the max 200%, right? A 200% stat debuff is insane. His damage is actually pretty good if you're running no rec bit on Megumi, like no DPS rec bit on Megumi and on Teen Nanami. Keep in mind they both have the 25% stat increase. Megumi just has extra CE, but that doesn't matter for this damage comparison. Megumi does more damage than Teen Nanami on average for me in sweep, so I really think damage-wise he's good. Debuff-wise, he's amazing. And then his damage reduction with that bunny is insane. 50% damage reduction is fucking crazy. Megumi is basically immortal. So yeah, I really like Megumi. First, like, really good premium plus unit. You don't need him, right? You don't need him. But he is there if you want to push past sweep floor 7, right? Past that 7th tier. Now, why is this something that I'm mentioning? Well, okay, here's something to kind of make a like very important distinction about, is that sweep 7 is the max that most people will need to achieve. Why is that? Well, let's talk about it. The main reason is because of the, and I pushed that, by the way, to, is it? I think I got to 165, guys, so I'm going to make a video on that soon. But basically, if we check the rewards, right? Sweep 7 barely changes to sweep 10. I think you have maybe a bit more RNG, right? But in general, right, the only thing you're really getting extra is that medal, right? I think this is for the first time completing it, which, oh, is it? This is going to be amazing. I didn't even know about that. But yeah, you get one-time completion, I guess. Or is it just rare? It might just be rare. Yeah, it is just, it's rare chance. So it really doesn't change much. So at sweep 7, you get your 750 cubes. You're only missing out on like 1,000 cubes, right? And that you could get over time anyway. So in terms of the beginning, Megumi is just the unit to really push you past that 7 out of 10. And that's kind of something I want to make clear. But if you do want that, then that's great. And then for future tower floors, he's going to be amazing. So I think out of all the ones in Premium Plus, in my opinion, he is probably the best one. Let's just be real. Now, the other one is, surprisingly for many people, maybe Sukuna. So right now, in terms of everything, you're only really needing him to get to 79. More specifically, to get past 79. 79 requires Sukuna right now. But if you keep in mind, when they add like literally anything else, because like we don't really have many good buffers, if they add a stat buffer, there's a high chance Jogo could do it. And why am I saying that? Well, you have to keep in mind right now, the only thing really helping with damage on that floor is like Kamo, for example. But if they bring Jogo in, Jogo some support in, I guess, I should say. Basically, my thought on that is that, well, they'd probably do damage. So if we have a stat buffer that does damage, well, 79 is going to become easier. So Sukuna right now, you could go for him. He could help you clear one floor. So I hope you enjoy those 300 cubes for summoning on him. But, you know, I think we know what's coming up. And I think that as of right now, I still don't think he's the best. I mean, for sweep, he's not amazing. I don't think his kit is really the best for sweep. So maybe we get like another blue DPS coming soon. Because literally the only really good blue unit in all of this is Sukuna, right? Other ones, obviously, that are good are like Kamo and Miwa, but like, it's pretty rough right now. It is really rough. So I would say that overall, if you're trying to really maybe maximize blue sweep right now, which I like is JP only, and this is a global video, so not really referencing you guys even, I just don't think he's going to be that good for, he is not that good for sweep. And then also for tower, it's for one floor. So I think you're better off maybe getting the support than getting a year-old DPS. Now, will he regain his throne when we get a support? Yes, but at that point, other units like Jogo will be able to take up some of the load for some of that. And something to make very clear too is that it's very possible that with his support, Jogo might have a better working kit since he's able to spam this 700% skill 3 for 5 times? Yeah, five turns. So, you know, there's certain things that aid Jogo's kit very well. So, you know, I think it's better probably summoning for the support, because supports do last longer. That's just something that's been very obvious. I mean, do I need to explain to you, right? Let's just, oh wait, yeah, right here. Yeah. So just wanted to make sure that's clear. He's still being used. So supports have more longevity. So if he is good, he's going to get you to 79. But I think that if you could wait a bit, well, probably better to wait a bit, in my opinion. Especially if you could get your Jogo maxed out, which I think most of you guys should do. So yeah, he's a premium plus unit right now. You're summoning on him if you're really trying to push for that right now. But there's no need. I think you'll be able to very soon. So next up, Kusakabe. Now, people are going to be a bit like confused. I mean, I think that's fair. This guy is very good though in general. He's more of a premium plus unit. Now, in what sense? Well, let me explain, because I mean, I've made it very clear, but I'm just going to make it clear once again. Essentially, when we get floors that nerf debuffs and are buff floors, I like to call them buff floors, right? Because buffs are the only ones that you're going to be running. Well, Kusakabe is going to still be better than Degumi in those floors, right? So this is a premium plus unit because look, let's read it. Units that are good, but only needed to really push content to its max. So when you're getting, if you're getting Kusakabe, it's basically to replace Degumi on those floors, because debuffs will have an 80% lower, and maybe on future floors, it's 90%. Degumi will be lower than Kusakabe on his one peak turn, right? Kusakabe has that 150% forever. Degumi will have one peak turn, but even that, while debuffed, is lower than Kusakabe. So Kusakabe just by default falls under premium plus because he's a support, right? The units below, guess what they don't do? Support. That's basically it. Premium plus falls for a lot of units that are supports. I mean, Megumi's here, Kusakabe's here. So, you know, Kusakabe at bare minimum is premium plus, but is it possible he goes up here? Yes. Now, right away, I think he's already amazing for tower because his damage buffs are consistent. It's going to work very well for yellow for sure. He has good damage reduction. It seems like he actually cannot die, which we're going to get into in another video. But for right now, I would say Kusakabe falls about here because damage buffs and damage increase debuffs are additive. You only need one. And since Degumi is not going to be able to really give a lot for future nerf or future buff floors that are nerf debuffs, right? I do think that, you know, if you get Kusakabe, it's not going to go wrong for those floors, but he's mainly going to revolve around tower. But he's going to push content to its max for tower. For future floors, yes. And keep in mind, if you guys did not hear the news, just so we're on the same page, why am I talking about future tower floors? Well, because they announced future tower floors, and this means October. It does not mean 10 floors. So if it's 20 floors, Kusakabe might be locked in for like 3 or 4 of them, which is crazy. So we'll have to see bare minimum premium plus. Now, who's good, amazing, especially for tower? Gojo and Shoko. These two are made for tower. I've been made very, like, it's been thrown in my face, that idea that these are mainly for tower, and I'll explain why. So Shoko, the problem is her healing is not in her passive. So like her big part of healing is the skill 3, which in tower you've seen me use it, and it's like really good. It's really, really good. However, you're not trying to heal and sweep. So that's a big problem, right? This heal is not bad. However, you get it too slow. It's 1500%. And in 17 turns, you're not getting enough of this to even compare to Yellow Shoko. That's one thing I want to make clear. Yellow Shoko, what's great about her is that she doesn't need to use her skill because it's built into her passive. So she keeps on using her skills and it doesn't matter. Now, yes, Teen Shoko does have it on her ult. However, I find myself kind of like needing other ways of healing, be it a wreck bit or not, when for Yellow, I do not. So that's one thing with Teen Shoko is that she works perfectly for tower because you can spare time to use the skill 3, which overall is better than Yellow Shoko's, right? Especially at A0. But this is more for tower, right? She works very well for tower with this, especially because she doesn't end up being hit because of her stealth and her extra HP. All of this is very good for tower, but for sweep, you do end up finding people dying, where Yellow Shoko is kind of just blitzing through because her HP heals are on her passive, and then she could only worrying about buffing with the damage from her skills while she's actually doing her skills. And then for Gojo, the biggest problem is that his Honored 1 state is only 8 turns, right? And why is this a problem? Well, wait, where is it? Does it not say it? Hello? Does it not say it? Oh, I don't even know. Is it here? Bro, let me find it. Okay, yeah, so it's because they changed how the wiki works. I couldn't see it, but essentially, it's for 8 turns. So basically, when you go in this, you have a timer. So either you sacrifice damage early on or you sacrifice it later. Now, the biggest problem is you can only ult once, which means big like bursts of damage don't really happen for him. Is he consistent? Yes. But does this work better for tower where it's 30 turns instead of 17, where he could get into Honored 1 twice? Yes, for sure. So, you know, amazing especially for tower, but are they still good in sweep? Yes, because it's still the meta team for now. But they were also nerfed to the ground in sweep. But, you know, there are some problems because in sweep 1, the good thing is he was doing way more damage than others at the time, so that was good. But in terms of overall how it works for sweep 2 with the triple the HP pool for hard sweep, 200 million HP, right? So it works a lot differently, right? Because of the fact when he ults, he gets rid of Honored 1, you have to play very specifically. So that's it. But if you want him for tower, very good units. I don't see them really getting replaced too soon. Maybe expect a green taijutsu, but there's a lot that needs to come out before then. Now then, these are the last 3 and they all go into highest value, no surprise. Wait, I mean, yeah, we're gonna, yeah, okay, so for Zonji, we're gonna put premium, okay, so we're gonna have to put him in premium +2. I kind of, that was a bit of an oversight, but essentially Zonji could clear it, but guess who else could clear it? Buddy boy Tinjo could clear sweep. So while Zonji is better in sweep, without a doubt, since Tinjo could clear it, and since we know we should be expecting a new yellow DPS soon, I would say Zonji is more premium plus, because if Tinjo could clear it, then you don't need Zonji. And while Zonji is better for sweep, without a doubt, since Tinjo could clear it, and since we know there's more yellow DPSs coming out, my guess is he's more of a premium plus unit that will be power crept at a certain point, right? So the 3 highest value units are Nanami, Domain Gojo, Chosun. And guess what they all have in common? They're all debuffers or supports. So Team Nanami, what I love about him is that he gets so much CE because he gets the extra 5 CE per turn. And at this turn 6, he gets 30 CE, which why this is really good is because this skill costs 30. And what's great is on your ult, you're guaranteed to crit. So that means you don't use CE on your ult turn, and then afterwards you get 5 CE. And then with the combo, that's an extra, I guess, 10 CE because you would have them at A0 probably. So, you know, a lot of it goes into him being able to be consistent and also still do decent damage, put that break increase, which is great for sweep, and also having these consistent buffs while having no downturns at all is so beautiful, right? The minute you put Kaido on your team, it's almost impossible for him to get a downturn, especially if he's doing the combo to get this extra 10 CE, because 20 CE is at max dupes. But, you know, Nanami's amazing for a lot of content right now. Now, Domain Gojo, whoa, that's not Domain Gojo. Hell, wait, let me pull up Domain Gojo. So, Domain Gojo still is very good. You know, I said he was nerfed, and yeah, he was, because you have bad RNG and he dies, right? He has a very big HP pool. Let's not get it wrong. Let's not get this shit twisted. His HP pool is still amazing. But guys, guess what? I have him dupe 2. Do you guys have him dupe 2? I don't really think so. A lot of free-to-plays don't. So that's something I do want to preface, is that Domain Gojo with dupes is great, but without them, can he get fucked over in sweep? Yes. Now, you might be like, oh, but he has attack immunity. Guys, in hard sweep, the boss removes attack immunity on every single color, and more importantly, if he's type disadvantage, he takes 300% more damage in hard sweep. So yes, can he be susceptible to dying? Yes, but can he just kind of rush through it, get his ult, and then basically the enemy won't kill him? Yeah, that happens too. So basically, he's still good in sweep, still amazing in tower because that stun is so good. And is like, he does damage, has this amazing ult. So yes, this guy is still very high value. And of course, Choso is too. This guy is basically like the Messiah, right? Basically the guy, that guy in sweep, because of the fact that his CE management overall is pretty good. And his ult does incredible damage, alongside the fact that he could tank very well because he has a chance at damage reduction, which sometimes a hit that would do 10k then does like 2 or 3k. So this damage reduction is very good. And keep in mind now, guys, he's more tanky than Honored One, since Honored One, and just Gojos in general, since Gojos cannot have attack immunity up, this guy is technically more tanky with good RNG, which is so funny to think about. So Choso's damage is incredible. The support is going to make him good for a long time. The one problem that I see, one very minute problem, is that Team Ghetto can only buff Jujutsu damage or Taijutsu damage received, right? So because of that, if you're using Choso, right, with a Taijutsu unit like Green Yuji, what sucks is that then you're going to have a kind of conflict where Yuji wants to do more Taijutsu damage, Choso wants to do more Jujutsu damage, and that does become a problem to do maximal damage, which is why right now Choso and Honored One are the best combo. But maybe in the future we see another stat debuffer, which then will only heighten Choso's value. So, you know, that's overall my list. However, we have to give a quick sneak in this, and here we go. So what am I doing? Well, must summon, right? What do you think it is, right? You might have seen it because I accidentally did scroll down, but Anniversary is a must summon. So basically, I mean, this is logical. Now, why is that? Well, okay, let's just take a quick look at the units they've released recently. Okay, so a Shibuya Jogo, Shibuya Naobito, okay. Oh yeah, right, okay, yeah, right. Shibuya Choso, oh, Shibuya Megumi. Oh yeah, we're getting Kusakabe. Oh wait, yeah, they dropped, you know, they dropped Mei. So yeah, it's about to be the pinnacle probably of the Shibuya arc coming out. I mean, you see right there, that's Fuga Sukuna on the image that I put. So my guess is these units, not only will they be the #1 units in the game, they're gonna be hype. So for those reasons, they're pretty much must summons. Because, you know, usually I'm like, oh, summon on what you want. Motherfucker, everyone's gonna want this. Who isn't gonna want a Fuga Sukuna? Probably either a Maharaga, maybe a Domain Gojo, or 0.2 Domain Gojo, right? We could get maybe a Kenjaku, an Uraume, right? There's so many different options they could do. And in terms of everything, they're basically going to hit base with everyone on this. So yes, keep in mind, Anniversary is around the corner, so you got to save a good amount of cubes for this. These are kind of like in the back, right? This is like really in the back. But, you know, overall, this is kind of my thoughts on it, right? Even if it is for, you know, paid players, low spenders, this is something that you could use as a chart to take, but very much so make sure to keep in mind that Anniversary is going to be hype and have amazing units. And personally, one of the reasons Zonji does go into Premium Plus is because we are due for a yellow Jujutsu DPS. Guys, the last one would have been in a month from now, guys. The last one would have been a year and a half ago. We're going to be getting a yellow Jujutsu, right? Same way we're up very soon for a green Taijutsu. Same way blue needs a blue Taijutsu. Same way red doesn't really need much, actually. They're kind of chilling, but I guess they could really get anything right now, right? Like, I would not be surprised if they get a red Taijutsu. The one thing is Toji. Bro, this guy just gains stocks over time, especially because they made one. He's one of the only people with a combo that has the 384%. What do I mean by that? That's the same multiplier as limited units, right? Zonji has the 384%. Toji does. I don't know, like, let's just check Tinjo out. Does he? Like, this is something kind of important. He does. So it seems like, bro, Anniversary units, and then there's, yeah, it's just Anniversary units. So, you know, I guess those standard units, that's actually pretty interesting. I didn't think of that. But 384 is on the higher end, and Red Toji getting that when he's already really good, alongside his consistent damage, is like music to my ears, okay? So I just want to check out of curiosity. Oh yeah, no, he doesn't. Ghetto doesn't, but he has really good support though, to be fair. So yeah, I would say there's a lot coming, but we could kind of expect, right? I mean, we could kind of infer a lot of things. And I would definitely say that, you know, this to me seems pretty accurate. But overall, most of you guys should have these units, right? The ones on top, most of you guys do, unless you're new. For new players, I think I would suggest just going full in on the new Anniversary units, but whenever that time comes, I'm going to make an updated video. I just wanted to make this chart, but I just want to make sure it's clear. Anniversaries must summon. But besides that, yeah, I mean, we're due for Kusakabe in, damn, 4 days. That's crazy. I'm going to be summoning on Kusakabe on Tuesday. That's pretty hype. So that's going to be it. Let me know what you think. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.